Hey guys, welcome back to the Learn to Code channel. I'm Nate streaming from San Diego, here to teach you guys how to code. We're going to continue on with our personal finance app. So let's get going. So if you guys remember, where we were at last time is we've created a budget page with income and expense tables, and you can go in, you can add an expense. So if we needed to budget for tea or whatever, $20 a month, we could add that, and that would update through our API. Our front end we built out in React. Our back end we built with Symfony. And we used MariaDB as our database. You could use MySQL, it's just about the same. So right now, I think we're going to style this so it doesn't look so ugly that nobody would ever want to use it. Should probably update my title. Part 6. Let's call this Make It Beautiful. B-E-A-U-T-ful. If anybody remembers that from, what movie was that? Bruce Almighty. Okay, so let's make it beautiful. What we need to do is get WebStorm open. Make sure we can see everything here. Looks like we can, yeah. So let's get WebStorm open. This has all our front end code. I'm going to set it up so that we can see our budget here while we code. And I'm probably going to open up not only our React markup, but I'm going to split the window here so that we can have our style sheets open. So let's get started, huh? So I think, obviously we're starting from scratch here. This is an ugly website that nobody would want to use, but by the time we're done with it today, it's going to be beautiful and useful. So let's get cranking. Let's start with the top. So right now, we've got this ugly load budget with ID. And I think realistically we can't force our users to remember the ID of their budget. I think the budget should have a name, and this should be a drop down so you could select Nate's budget, for instance. That's going to be a little bit more useful. So let's do that. We're not going to program any logic around that. We're just going to do the markup so that we can make our site a little more beautiful. So let's go into our budget markup with React. And let's just go ahead and add a select box. So right here is where our form is. Let's add a select box with option. We'll say value 6 because that's the ID of our budget, Nate's budget, and option. We're gonna have this do, maybe this will work, I don't know. Let's see if we can. That will work for us. Doesn't look like it, huh? Let's see. What are we doing here? So if we click go here, doesn't look like it's picking up that 6, huh? So we're not going to work on the logic like I said, so we'll just in our component did mount section, which I think we implemented before, we'll just run fetch budget. How do we use this? Right there. So we're going to fetch our budget. We're just going to hard code 6 in here because we're getting rid of our input fields. And then as soon as we load, it's just going to load our budget in for us. See, there we go. Alright, so like I said, we're going to have an option to select the budget. And we're going to be able to choose from several budgets. So we could have Nate's budget, Sam's budget, Elijah's budget, Michael's budget. And this will be loaded dynamically from the database once we get there. That might be some homework for you guys. I don't know if we'll implement that live. Maybe we will. Next thing we need to do is we need to create some kind of beautiful looking header, I would think. So let's go back to our app, which is the container. And let's see, class name app seems like a good name for our overall container. But let's add some kind of header here. What does this say here? Empty body. I don't know why it's trying to do 4 spaces indentation, but what should we call our app? My Money Manager. And we need to maybe make that some kind of a marquee or jumbotron. So let's edit in our styles here. Oh look, we have an app header. This is left over from when we first started our app. We don't need any of that. We do want this, but this is all left over. Let's try. Let's see what happens if we use the styles that were here. Okay, so that's no good, really. It looks better than what we had, but still no good. What color should we theme our website? Probably, let's see, green is a little bit too offensive. How about, oh, the bluish green's not so bad. Let's look at ideas. Let's check out mint.com. Let's see what it looks like. So they've got a green header here. Oh, they've got light gray. They've got a really web appy. Well, I know the height doesn't have to be that high. Probably 50 pixels is just fine. Or even 30. And we'll do box sizing, border box. I think that's going to change that a bit. Not sure how tall we need it. There we go, that's a little better. We'll make this a little bigger. We'll make the font size pretty big for this. There we go. My Money Manager. The background color is really not doing it for me. Maybe we'll do some kind of light green. Let's see what happens. bad. Looks like money, kind of. Let's find a better font stack. I think Open Sans is a nice font stacks. Open Sans is a nice font stack, but we'll see what else we can find. We want something that looks clear, but sort of unique. Let's see. Rockwell doesn't look bad. Let's see if we can see Open Sans is here. It's a pretty basic looking font stack, but oh, check this out. It's got everything here for us. Yeah, so what we got to do is link to this font so that it adds it, and we include this in our main HTML in the head section. Public, there we go. And let's just add it right here. Now we should have that Open Sans font available to us, and we can add this as our font family. And I think this is our Open Sans. Yep. This is what Open Sans looks like. It's a nice clean font. Looks nice and web appy. So we'll go with this for now. Let's make My Money Manager. Let's take our income and expenses tables and line them up. I think what we're gonna have to do is set explicit widths for these columns. See how amount is not aligned up with the amount down here? I don't like that. That looks pretty bad. So let's go ahead and try and line these up. Let's go into our budget markup. Right now this has 3 columns for the income and only, okay, we added a third column, it looks like, for our expenses too, so that's good. So now we just need to add styles. So the first column, we want it to be about this wide, however wide that is. So let's go into our CSS styles. Let's go into, let's say, so table cells that are nth child 0 for, I think it's 0 index. If it's not, we'll see. Let's just set the background color to black to see if we've got that right. Looks like it's first child, so get rid of this background color, and let's set the width to 300 pixels. So that's going to do that for both of our columns. It looks like we need to get a little further over to line up the amount columns, so we'll do 350. That's better. Maybe this box down here at the bottom is kind of cramping our style. I don't know. See how these are expanding this first column here? So let's see. Yeah, I think we'll just remove this. I feel like this doesn't have to be a part of the table. We can move this outside of our table, underneath. And remove all the table markup. That looks better already. Still looks lame, but we're gonna get there. Okay, my money manager. Let's see if we can. Actually, you know what? That's looking pretty good now. So now that we've got that first column lined up and the second column lined up, it does already look a lot better. I do think we should maybe, I'm trying to think of what the longest expense and longest income would be. I think we still have a lot more room than we need. So maybe now that that form at the bottom, the add expense form, is removed, we could make this column a little smaller. So let's make it 280 pixels. It's a little easier to read, I guess. I think that'll do. Let's make the second column uniform as well. And let's make it 80 pixels and see what that looks like. Bump that out. So now there's a little bit of a padding. Okay. Cool. I think I like this. Let's put this down here. Let's see. This is kind of how everything lines up. I'm using the Chrome Dev Tools. I just hit Command-Shift-C to get this kind of mouse over tool where I can see where everything lines up. Close out of that. I think this probably is going to end up being the same. I think we're going to need Nate's budget as the header here instead of just budget, although would it be better to keep it generic? I'm not sure. Let's take a look. Budget. You need a budget. Let's take a look at them for some inspiration. So you need a budget looks like this. It's more of like a table, almost like a desktop app. Oh, it is a desktop app, isn't it? Okay, here's kind of a close-up of what we've been building. This is a pretty much the same, except it's got this activity and it shows you how much money you have left for the month. Some bolder fonts around here. We need graphs in ours. That's what we need. I guess we'll get there later. Alright. Well, let's start styling our form down here. So this is a form to add expenses. So let's label it that way. Add a new expense. Add new expense. Then we need a line break. And for whatever reason, we have a ton of space underneath our header here. And that is because, is it the header? Maybe we don't need a line break here. It's a little better. See what Bootstrap has to offer. Just want to see what kind of elements these guys have. Components, glyphs. Let's expand this so we can see. We're looking for inspiration right now to see what kind of elements we want on our budget. These drop downs sure are a lot better looking than the default drop downs, aren't they? Oh, and the input forms are better. Yeah, I think we'll just go ahead and, what does this do? Thought I might format dollars for us. Yeah, let's go ahead and import Bootstrap, I guess. This looks pretty nice, huh? It's gonna do a lot of the heavy lifting as far as making everything look clean for us, so we don't have to worry about things like building grids. Let's see. You can install it using npm. Let's find out how we install that with Webpack. Start by installing Bootstrap in your project. Then you import the JavaScript through index.js. We need to include the Sass. Okay, we'll give this a shot. Oh, Bootstrap 4. We're on Bootstrap 3. Oh yeah, Bootstrap 4 is coming. Yeah, we're gonna use the new stuff. Why use Bootstrap 3 if we could use Bootstrap 4? So let's install it with npm. So we're gonna go to our front end app, and we're going to run npm install and then Bootstrap with the save flag so that this saves it to our npm package JSON file. Because eventually we're going to add this to source control. We're going to upload it to like GitHub or something, and we'll probably need this saved so that we can deploy it eventually also. Okay, so that just installed Bootstrap. Let's see what else this guy has to say. We want to import Bootstrap in the index.js. I'm skeptical of this working, but we'll see. And we'll import this in our index CSS file. Misplaced CSS import. And I think we need this needs to be a Sass file, huh? So we're going to call it index.sass. Huh. And I think in our index.js now we include index.sass. Let's see if we didn't break everything. Of course we did. Bootstrap's JavaScript requires jQuery. jQuery must be included before Bootstrap's JavaScript. So let's see. Yep, we need jQuery and tether. You have to add this to your Webpack plugins section, so we need to add let's take a look at our Webpack file. What does npm start do? Do we not even use Webpack anymore? React script start. Trying to figure out what our start script is actually doing. Scripts start. Yeah, we use Webpack, but we don't have a Webpack config file. Right, I don't see a Webpack config file. So we're going to have to figure out how we add one. Create React app. So this is the package that we use to create our React app, and I want to figure out how we configure Webpack right now. So custom additional Webpack config. Previously provided somewhere that allowing custom config, let alone one type of Webpack files, will limit CRA's ability to iterate on defaults and potentially use a different file under the hood. I point out. Interesting. Probably better served by other projects. Yikes. Looks like we're on our own. I think we need to import this ourselves, which is too bad. So I think we're going to have to add tether maybe and jQuery. Let's see. Let's see how this works. We're going to run npm install with the save flag again for jQuery. And this tether was the other dependency that Bootstrap needed. It looks like we've already, as part of the Bootstrap installation, installs jQuery and Tether. But I'm going to explicitly define these since we're going to be importing these. Let's make sure that they're the same version. Don't want any kind of conflicts between two different versions of Tether. jQuery installed with the same version. Alrighty. And Tether and jQuery will want to add before Bootstrap. Tether, jQuery. Todd's decided to join us. And let's see how broken this is. Be included before Bootstrap's JavaScript. But we have included it. We could try adding this to our index.html. Where do we import our index.js? We'll do this way up top. Let's see if that doesn't work. Alright. Let's do the same with Tether. Do we have, there we go, CDN version of Tether. We're going to put this right after jQuery. Hey, it worked. We have Bootstrap now, allegedly. So let's see how we can style this select box to look a little better now. Let's take a look. We are running Bootstrap 4, so let's take a look at Bootstrap 4. Maybe some examples even. This is a better looking table than what we have now. Let's see, I want a drop down. It's also a better looking form than what we have now. I want to see what kind of components we have. Here we go. Alright. So let's see what kind of components we have. We want a drop down. There we go. What's the difference between a drop down button and a drop down link? Just the markup. Let's make our drop down with this instead of the default HTML drop down. So I'm going to just copy and paste this right in to our budget component, and we'll see how it looks. It looks like we might want to just include this the same way as we included Tether and jQuery, and we'll just remove it from our npm file. we're just loading everything from the Bootstrap CDN. Maybe we should read the docs, huh? So this goes in right before the end of the body tag, and then the CSS goes here. Required meta tags. We already have our viewport and our car set. It's not that. Requires the use of the HTML5 doc type. Well, it does look like it changed our button. Right. You know what, I kind of want to ditch this whole idea of using Bootstrap. It's almost more pain than it's worth. What are we doing wrong here? I mean, what would this work if we completely ditched everything? Very odd. Yeah, we're gonna ditch this. I'll probably just cut this part of the video out post-production because we're ditching Bootstrap, unfortunately. Ooh, we can change our title while we're in here. Alright, where were we? We want to revert this. And we want to remove our index.sass. Get rid of this. Get rid of that. And remove our dependencies. We give up. You win, Bootstrap. Oh, we need our index.js that we deleted, our index CSS. Revert. What is the deal? Why is there an index SAS? I don't get it. Trying to dig this up in history, but it's kind of tough. Let's see. Index. Oh, I guess we don't even need it. It's our app CSS that has everything good. Alright. Get rid of index CSS. Get rid of Bootstrap in here. Yeah, we have to roll back so many changes because we tried to use Bootstrap. Not worth it. Okay. Let's see. My Money Manager. So this is kind of the title of our website. Budget is the page we're on. We've lined these up quite a bit. We can add expenses. We're going to need to be able to add income. So let's add that section. So we've got to add new expense. And we'll put it in the same place under income streams. Add new income stream. We'll leave it unimplemented for now. Just like, or we'll implement that later, I guess. Add new income stream. Add new expense. The section that we're missing right now is sort of like a totals or something. I don't know. Maybe we'll leave that off for now. Let's see. I think this is an easier one to import, but there's CDN. Installing foundation. I think we'll see how this looks. Usually you can just drop foundation in and it makes, I guess we're going to copy here. It makes things nicer. Maybe it's just not compatible with the way we use React. I don't know. I think we're going to throw our form on the same line as the titles here. see what that looks like. Add a new income stream. I think we can make this bold maybe. It's kind of a label. Let's add a placeholder to this first, and we'll call that name or paycheck. We'll add a placeholder here. $1,000. How's that look? All right. We want to add some space here. Oh look, we capitalized the L. So to add some space, we can do NB. I think that's the character for space, so it added a little padding there. Should we line up? It's almost like we should just line it up with our table here. I don't know. That might actually look better. I know we moved this before, but let's see what happens if we put this back in. And the styling is definitely the most subjective part of this whole process, and it's the part that is the most challenging for me. I'm much better at building the logic and architecture behind apps. Some folks are actually a lot better at this side of programming. Yeah, this actually looks better. And I think what we want to do is make these 100% of the width. Yeah. And we'll make this our placeholder. Add new income stream. Maybe. Name. How's that look? Yeah. I think it makes more sense this way. And we'll wrap this in the form. Yeah, oh, I see, but that messes up the width of the columns. It doesn't line up anymore, which is lame. You see, it's like it's... I'm going to figure out how to embed a form in a table without it breaking. Embed form in table. That's pretty lame. Wow. Maybe we can't. It's pretty disappointing. So if we get rid of the form here, we're fine. Wow. So maybe, what do we use this? How does create expense get called? Maybe we don't need the form. Maybe. It does. It has an event prevent default. It doesn't look like we really depend on the form after all, so let's just add this as an on-click handler. Let's create a button instead. button on click. Create. So now we've gotten rid of our form, and can we add, this is going to add an expense, but let's see if this works. Well, didn't like that for whatever reason, but doesn't have the budget ID, huh? I think maybe that's unrelated. I think we'll just set budget ID to 6. Oh. Gotta go for 1 second.